Good morning students. So in this video we are going to learn about phosphorus. It's one of the element in group number 15. The atomic number of phosphorus is 15 and its mass number is 31. And in this video we are going to learn about what are the allotropes of phosphorus and what are the chemical properties, physical properties and uses of this phosphorus. Phosphorus has several allotropic modifications, of which the three forms, namely white, red and black phosphorus, are most common. First, let's see about the white phosphorus. This white phosphorus, the pure form of white phosphorus, will be colorless, but it becomes pale yellow due to the formation of a layer of red phosphorus upon standing. When this white phosphorus is exposed little time, there will be a red phosphorus coating over the white phosphorus. So this white phosphorus getting converted into a yellow phosphorus. But actually this white phosphorus is, among all the three phosphorus, the white phosphorus is highly reactive. So always this white phosphorus will be kept under water. And it is poisonous in nature and has a characteristic garlic smell. So the garlic smell, as well as compared to red and black phosphorus, this is poisonous in nature. Then it glows in the dark due to the oxidation which is called as phosphorescence. So phosphorescence is a process taken place in phosphorus where this phosphorus will absorb all the light, and during dark all the absorbed light will be emitted back. Due to that emission, it will glows. So due to the glowing, that process is named to be phosphorescence. Then its ignition temperature is very low. At very low temperature, it will burn. Hence, it undergoes a spontaneous combustion in air at room temperature to give P2O5. So phosphorus, when we keep it outside, it's very dangerous. It will explode violently because highly reactive nonmetal, even at room temperature, that is its ignition temperature is very low. At 30 degrees Celsius it catches fire. So this phosphorus will be, white phosphorus will be placed in water molecule. Next, about the red phosphorus. The white phosphorus can be changed into red phosphorus by heating it into 420 degrees Celsius in the absence of air and light. So they should not have any air when we heat this white phosphorus, because you know that in the presence of air it catches fire. So there should not be any air or light when we heat this white phosphorus. So when we heat this white phosphorus at 420 degrees Celsius, it can be changed into red phosphorus. Unlike white phosphorus, you know the white phosphorus is poisonous nature, but this red phosphorus is not poisonous. Then white phosphorus has a character of phosphorescence, but this red phosphorus do not show the phosphorescence. It also does not ignite at low temperature. I said that white phosphorus is kept under water, preserved under water, because it easily catches fire with oxygen. It reacts easily, undergo oxidation with oxygen. Hence it is placed inside the water. But as well as it has a very low ignition temperature. It easily catches fire. But this red phosphorus does not ignite at low temperature. The red phosphorus can be converted into white phosphorus. Here white converted into red by 420 degrees Celsius. But the red can be converted into white phosphorus by boiling it in a inert atmosphere. So we should be maintaining atmosphere, inert atmosphere. Some noble gases will be either argon or any noble gases should be maintained. They should not be air, okay? Because there is air, the white phosphorus from red, if the white is formed, that again catches fire and it get converted into the respective oxide. To avoid that, that will be maintained in an inert atmosphere and condensing the vapor under water. So the red phosphorus maintained at the inert atmosphere, it get converted into white phosphorus collected in a vapor will be coming, and that will be condensed in a condensing tube and will be kept under the water. Next, structure of phosphorus. The phosphorus has a layer structure and also act as a semiconductor. Semiconductor is something which can conduct electricity partially. Then the 4 atom in phosphorus may have polymeric structure. That is, this is P4. P linked with the other P through a covalent bond, and one P4 joined with the other P4, like there will be a polymeric structure. Chain of P4 linked tetrahedral. You can look at this, seems to be a tetrahedral structure. So here phosphorus, 4 phosphorus are linked through a tetrahedral, and one set of P4 linked with the other set, and so that structure is called to be a layer structure or polymeric structure. Unlike nitrogen, you know, N triple bond N, N2 can be represented as N triple bond N. Unlike nitrogen, P triple bond P is less stable than P single bond P phosphorus. That is, in nitrogen, N triple bond N is more stable, but in phosphorus, P single bond P is more stable. Hence, phosphorus atoms are linked through single bonds rather than the triple bond. So you can see this phosphorus linked with the other phosphorus through a bond called to be a single bond. In addition to the above two, more allotropes, namely scarlet, violet phosphorus, are also known for phosphorus. Just we said there will be a phosphorus, white phosphorus, red phosphorus and black phosphorus. Other than that, and we said one word that white phosphorus could be converted into the yellow phosphorus due to the deposition of red phosphorus. Other than those, we have a phosphorus called to be scarlet phosphorus as well as the violet phosphorus. Next, about the chemical properties. Here the yellow phosphorus reacts with air very faster even in the absence of temperature. So even at room temperature it catches fire and get converted into the phosphorus pentoxide. But the red phosphorus heated with air and get converted into phosphorus trioxide or phosphorus pentoxide. So white phosphorus give you phosphorus pentoxide steadily, but the red phosphorus can give either trioxide or pentoxide. So here this white phosphorus or yellow phosphorus, the reaction can be taken place in the absence of temperature. That means at room temperature. But in red phosphorus, it can be carried out only after heating. We have to maintain certain temperature. Next chemical property is reaction with chlorine. That phosphorus reacts with chlorine to give you phosphorus trichloride or phosphorus pentachloride. But the yellow phosphorus reacts at room temperature, while the red phosphorus reacts only after heating. So that's the difference. Next, reaction with alkali. Yellow phosphorus reacts with alkali on boiling it in an inert atmosphere. So where the atmosphere, while this reaction is carried out, the atmosphere is maintained at inert atmosphere. So they will not be having ordinary air. Instead, there will be a inert gas will be filled in that. So this yellow phosphorus react with alkali and it is boiling the mixture, and it get converted into a two product. One is called to be sodium hypophosphite, the other one is called to be phosphine. This phosphine can be a very good reducing agent. Reaction with nitric acid. Here when phosphorus is treated with concentrated nitric acid, this phosphorus get oxidized to give you phosphoric acid. The formula is H3PO4. Either you can say it as a phosphoric acid or orthophosphoric acid. This reaction will be catalyzed by the iodine crystal. The presence of iodine crystal, phosphorus treated with concentrated nitric acid get converted into orthophosphoric acid. The byproduct is nitrogen dioxide as well as the water molecule. Reaction with metals. Phosphorus reacts with calcium and magnesium, that is 2s block element, and get converted into the respective metal phosphide. You know magnesium oxidation number +2, phosphorus it's -3, you crisscross, you will get the formula Mg3P2. Likewise, calcium +2, phosphorus -3, you get the formula calcium phosphide Ca3P2. So with calcium and magnesium, you get the product called to be magnesium phosphide, calcium phosphide. But this phosphorus violently react with sodium and potassium, because you know that sodium is also highly reactive element which is kept under water. Sodium is kept under kerosene, but phosphorus is kept under water. When these two react, the reaction will be violent and get the respective phosphide, that is sodium phosphide. Uses of phosphorus. The first use is the red phosphorus is used in the matchboxes. The next one, it's also used for the production of certain alloys such as phosphor bronze. You know about the bronze. Bronze is nothing but alloy of copper and tin. Along that copper and tin, some percentage of phosphorus is also getting added. So here so approximately 0.5 to 0.117 percentage of tin, along with that 0.01 percentage to 0.35 percentage of phosphorus is added in that. So that is called to be phosphor alloy. Good morning students. So already we have learned about phosphorus. Today we are going to learn about phosphine. One molecule of phosphorus is phosphine. Formula is pH3. So you know the atomic number of phosphorus 15. The valence electron of phosphorus is 5 and every hydrogen has 1 electron. There are 3 hydrogen, so 3 into 1, so totally 8 electron. All these 8 electrons are arranged here in this phosphine. So the formula for phosphine is pH3. So let's see what are the method to prepare phosphine, what are the properties as well as the uses of phosphine. Preparation of phosphine. First, phosphine is prepared from treating phosphorus with sodium hydroxide. So get the product sodium hypophosphite and phosphine.
Now carbon dioxide is bubbled into the solution. Why? To provide an inert environment. Now what is the reaction which takes place? Well, the reaction involved in the formation of the gas is P4 plus 3 NaOH plus 3 H2O gives 3 NaH2PO2 plus pH3. Now pure phosphine is non-inflammable. However, in this method, P2H4 or P4 vapors are also obtained as impurities. Now, presence of these impurities actually makes phosphine inflammable and it catches fire as soon as it comes in contact with air, and that gives rise to vortex rings of smoke. Therefore, it's extremely important to purify the gas. And how do we do that? Well, for that, it is absorbed in hydrogen iodide to form phosphonium iodide, PH4i. Phosphine can later be obtained from phosphonium iodide by treating it with potassium.
Next method of preparation is this phosphine can be obtained by treating this metallic phosphide, that is calcium phosphide and aluminum phosphide. Aluminum, its oxidation number +3, phosphorus -3, so the formula is ALP. When calcium phosphide treated with water, you get phosphine. Aluminum phosphide treated with dilute acid, you get phosphine along the byproduct. Here calcium hydroxide, here aluminum chloride is obtained. The other method, when phosphorus acid is heated, it decomposes to give you orthophosphoric acid. Either you can say it is orthophosphoric acid or phosphoric acid. Plus the phosphine is obtained. So these are the method to prepare phosphine. Physical properties of phosphine. It's a colorless and poisonous gas. You know that white phosphorus is colorless as well as poisonous. Likewise, this phosphine also colorless poisonous gas with a rotten fish smell. So you can distinguish it from white phosphorus, that is garlic smell, but this phosphine is rotten fish smell. and then it is slightly soluble in water and it is neutral to litmus paper. It condenses to colorless liquid. So phosphine is colorless liquid at 188 Kelvin and it freezes to a solid at 139.5 Kelvin. Chemical properties of phosphine. One is thermal stability. When phosphine is heated in the absence of air, it decomposes to give you the elementary state called to be the phosphorus, and the hydrogen gas will be getting liberated. Either by heating or by passing electric current, it decomposes to give you phosphorus and hydrogen. But when phosphine is heated in the presence of air, first it will be getting converted into phosphorus pentoxide. When it is heated further, the phosphorus pentoxide formed get converted into metaphosphoric acid. So phosphine, when it is heated at in the presence of air at higher temperature, it directly get converted into metaphosphoric acid. The other chemical properties of phosphine are, one is basic nature. When phosphine treated with hydriodic acid, it get converted into phosphonium iodide. This phosphonium iodide, when it is hydrolyzed, it further give back the phosphine plus the hydronium ion and I minus iodide ion. Then when this phosphine is treated with chlorine, it get converted into phosphorus pentachloride. So the important property of phosphine is it can be a very good reducing agent. So that is, when silver nitrate is treated with phosphine, it reduces the silver nitrate into silver phosphide. That is, silver nitrate getting converted into silver phosphide and the byproduct will be nitric acid. The other one is it can form a coordination compound, because in the beginning itself, when you see the structure, you can find there will be a lone pair of electron present near the phosphine, that is near phosphorus. This lone pair of electron will make it to donate the pair of electron to someone else. So this electron donor is called to be Lewis base and the electron acceptor is called to be Lewis acid. So here Cl3b, the boron, accepts the lone pair of electron from phosphine and make a bond called to be a coordinate bond. So there will be a complex, the coordination complex will be formed. Next, about the structure of phosphine. So by looking at the structure itself, you can come to know what is its structure. It seems to be a pyramidal in structure. So the phosphorus present in the phosphine undergo the hybridization called to be sp3 hybridization, and there are 3 bond pair as well as 1 lone pair. So you all studied in 11th standard, there will be a repulsion between bond pair and lone pair. So due to the repulsion between bond pair and lone pair, the bond angle is getting reduced into 93.5 degree, and the phosphine has a pyramidal in shape, because they'll be expecting it is to be a tetrahedral, but there is 1 lone pair as well as those lone pair and bond pair repel and the shape is deviated and it become the pyramidal in shape. The bond distance between phosphorus and hydrogen is 1.42 angstrom. Next, about the uses of phosphine. Phosphine is used for producing the smoke screen, as it gives large smoke. So you can, when phosphine burns, it produces large smoke. So that can act as a smoke screen. So in a ship, there will be a container which is filled with calcium carbide. Calcium carbide formula is CaC2 and calcium phosphide, that is Ca3P2. When these two reacts, it liberates PH3 and acetylene, that is CH triple bond CH. When thrown into the sea, that is the container which is filled with calcium carbide and calcium phosphide is thrown into a sea. These calcium carbide and calcium phosphide react within the container and get converted into phosphine and acetylene. The liberated phosphine catches fire and ignites acetylene. So phosphine, when it come in contact with the air, it catches fire. That fire will ignite the acetylene which comes out of the container. These burning gases serves as a signal to the approaching ships. So this is known as the home signal. So let's watch this video. Good morning, students. Today we are going to learn about a compound of phosphorus, that's phosphorus trichloride. The formula for phosphorus trichloride is PCl3. You all know its atomic number is 15. When we write it configuration, it is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p3. So the valence electron of phosphorus is 5. But the valency of phosphorus is 3. Valency is nothing but the combining capacity of an atom. So phosphorus, its combining capacity is 3. So all the 3 electron involved for the bond formation with chlorine, and its formula become PCl3. Preparation of phosphorus trichloride. There are two methods to prepare. The first method is when a slow stream of chlorine is passed over white phosphorus, phosphorus trichloride is formed. P4 plus 6Cl2 gives PCl3. It can also be obtained by treating white phosphorus with thionyl chloride. The formula for thionyl chloride is SOCl2. When phosphorus treated with thionyl chloride, the product is phosphorus trichloride plus sulfur dioxide plus disulfur dichloride. Either you can say it as disulfur dichloride, or else it can be called to be sulfur monochloride.
Phosphorus plus chlorine gives phosphorus trichloride. Dry white phosphorus is placed in the retort and gently heated on a water bath. A current of pure dry chlorine is led over the phosphorus. The phosphorus trichloride formed, being volatile, distills over and is collected in a water-cooled receiver. The phosphorus trichloride obtained as above contains some phosphorus pentachloride as impurity.
Next, about the chemical properties of phosphorus trichloride. The first property is hydrolysis. When phosphorus trichloride hydrolyzed, the product obtained is called as phosphorus acid. The formula of phosphorus acid is H3PO3 and the byproduct is HCl. All the chlorine atom is replaced from the phosphorus and it joined with the hydrogen from the water molecule and it go away as hydrochloric acid. So let's see about the mechanism of this reaction. That is, the first step, the phosphorus trichloride, when it is treated with one water molecule, the product obtained is PCl3.H2O, or I can write POHCl2. That is, one Cl is replaced and getting substituted by the OH group from the water. One H and Cl is going as HCl. So you can look at that step here too. PCl3, when water come and attack, you know the water having oxygen, 2 lone pair, out of that this water molecule can act as a nucleophile. It go on attack the phosphorus, so this chloride ion will be going away. Now you get the product phosphorus, down chlorine, here chlorine, up there will be O, H and H. Oxygen carry positive charge because it's surrounded by 3 bond. Now the chloride ion which came out will join with this hydrogen and it will go as H plus and it go as HCl. So one hydrochloric acid is removed. And the next step will be the product which formed, I can say this is PCl2OH because this H is going away. PCl2OH. So I got PCl2OH. This PCl2OH further attacked by one more water molecule. Further it is attacking by one more water molecule. When that water molecule attack, this chloride ion is coming out. So you get the product P single bond Cl. Here there will be OHH and this carry positive and this OH. The chloride ion which came out of this will join with this H plus ion of this water and it will go as HCl. So second water molecule, second hydrochloric acid is getting removed. The product obtained is H2PO2Cl. You can look at that, H2PO2Cl. So that's the product. And the third step, this will be further attacked by the third water molecule, that is the water molecule. When it attacks, this chloride ion is going out as Cl minus. When it go away, again this water molecule join OHH and plus, and the Cl minus will go with this H plus and it go as HCl. The third HCl is getting removed. The final product which you are getting is H3PO3. You can look at this H2, this H together, H3PO3. So I have represented P single bond OH, single bond OH, single bond OH. or it can be represented to be H3PO3. This is about the mechanism of this hydrolysis of phosphorus trichloride. Next, about the other two reactions. When alcohol and acid reacts with phosphorus trichloride, this is alcohol ethanol and this is ethanoic acid. This is not ethanoic acid, this is called to be propanoic acid. 3 carbon atom are there. So this is propanoic acid. When ethanol and propanoic acid treated with phosphorus trichloride, all this OH part from this alcohol and the OH part from this acid is replaced by the chlorine. So chloride is going and joined, so they get the product C2H5Cl, C2H5COCl plus the byproduct is called to be the phosphorus acid. The shape of phosphorus trichloride is trigonal pyramidal. You can look at the structure. There are 3 bond pair. So 3 bond pair in this phosphorus trichloride, as well as 1 lone pair. Near this phosphorus, 1 lone pair. You know the hybridization involved in phosphorus trichloride is sp3 hybridization. The outermost configuration 3s2 3p3. So the electron present in the phosphorus, 3 electron at the phosphorus in 3p3 orbital will make a bond with the chlorine atom of this 3 chlorine atom, and it is hybridization. Then the shape is said to be pyramidal, that is trigonal pyramidal, and its bond angle as well as the bond length, that is phosphorus and chlorine bond length is 204 picometer and the bond angle is said to be 100 degree. Uses of phosphorus trichloride. The only use, it's used as a chlorinating agent. Just now we saw that when ethanol treated with PCl3, you are getting the product called to be ethyl chloride. Can be evidence for chlorinating agent. And for the preparation of phosphorus acid, H3PO3. Just now we saw under the chemical properties. Next, about the assignment, write the preparation of PCl3. Write the chemical properties of PCl3. What are the uses of PCl3? Draw the structure of PCl3. Good morning, students. Already we have learned about phosphorus trichloride. It's one of the chloride of phosphorus. Now we are going to learn about phosphorus pentachloride. So the formula for phosphorus pentachloride is PCl5. So the atomic number, as you all know, it's 15 and the valence electron is 5. Here the phosphorus, all the 5 valence electron has taken part in the bond formation. So the bond is PCl5. The formula is PCl5. So let's see how all the electron involved for the bond formation. What is the hybridization involved in phosphorus pentachloride? You know, in sp3, in PCl3, the hybridization is sp3. Let's see how it has happened. In phosphorus, the electronic configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p3. This is the ground state configuration. When it moves to the excited state, the electron present at the s orbital, 3s having 2 electron, that electron will jump from its orbital and move towards the 3d orbital. So the configuration at the excited state is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s1, 3p3 and 3d1. Now, as all the 5 valence electron involved for the bond formation, there the electrons are present at the s orbital, px, py, pz and dxy orbital. All these electron involved for the bond formation and undergo the hybridization. Then it linked to all the 5 chlorine atom. Now the shape of this molecule is called to be trigonal bipyramidal. This is trigonal shape and up and down one bond, so that is called to be trigonal bipyramidal. So in this we are going to learn about how to prepare and what are the properties and uses of PCl5. The preparation of phosphorus pentachloride. When phosphorus trichloride is treated with excess chlorine, phosphorus pentachloride is obtained. You know the phosphorus trichloride formula PCl3. When it is treated with Cl2, you get the product called to be PCl5. Properties of phosphorus pentachloride. First, about the action of heat. When phosphorus pentachloride is heated, it decomposes to give you phosphorus trichloride and chlorine gas. The next one is hydrolysis, that is reaction with water. When phosphorus pentachloride is treated with water, you get 2 products. One is called to be phosphoryl chloride, the other one is called to be phosphoric acid, or it is called to be orthophosphoric acid. But the final product is said to be, when there is excess of water, the final product is said to be what? Phosphoric acid. So here there are two equations given. You can take here POCl3 at my left hand side and the right hand side also. So when we add these two reactions, this POCl3 and POCl3 get cancelled. You can add this water molecule as well as the chlorine. You get the product. The overall reaction is PCl5 with excess of water, that is 4 molecular water. You get the product called to be phosphoric acid plus hydrochloric acid.
When damp blue litmus paper is placed in this sample tube containing some phosphorus pentachloride, it quickly turns red. Solid phosphorus pentachloride reacts with moisture, forming phosphoric 5 acid and hydrogen chloride fumes. The hydrogen chloride dissolves in the water on the litmus paper, forming hydrochloric acid. Pure hydrogen chloride vapour is colourless. The misty appearance of the hydrogen chloride is due to water condensing in the region of the hydrogen chloride vapour. In this second test, a few drops of water are added to some solid phosphorus pentachloride, and then concentrated ammonia solution is placed in the watch glass just to the right of the sample tube. The smoke formed is solid ammonium chloride. Ammonia gas is often used as a test for hydrogen chloride vapour.
Reaction with metal. When phosphorus pentachloride react with metal, it gives the respective metal chloride. Here there are two examples given. When silver reacts with phosphorus pentachloride, give you silver chloride plus phosphorus trichloride is the byproduct. Likewise, when tin react with phosphorus pentachloride, the product obtained is called to be tin tetrachloride, or you can call it as stannic chloride plus phosphorus trichloride is the byproduct. Then it can also chlorinate the organic compounds like PCl3. You have learned already in the previous video. PCl3 reacts with ethanol, give you C2H5Cl. Likewise here too, C2H5OH, that is ethanol, reacts with PCl5, give you C2H5Cl plus HCl plus POCl3. There the product obtained is, byproduct is phosphorus acid. Here the byproducts are two. One is hydrochloric acid, the other one is phosphoryl chloride. Likewise, with propanoic acid, this phosphorus pentachloride reacts and replaces the OH group from that and get the product called to be C2H5COCl plus HCl plus POCl3.
I'm going to add some phosphorus pentachloride to the alcohol using a spatula, and I'm going to test for the presence of HCl using both concentrated ammonia solution, which gives off ammonia gas, which would react with any HCl if present to form a white smoke. I'm also going to use some damp universal indicator paper. HCl should dissolve in the dampness there, producing an acid which will turn the indicator paper red. So here we go. I have the indicator paper standing by. You get a vigorous reaction there, clearly showing that it turns the indicator paper red. And we can see there, I hope, plenty of white smoke with the ammonia, indicating the presence of HCl gas. This test tube contains the carboxylic acid ethanoic acid, and here I have phosphorus pentachloride PCl5, which shows up the presence of OH groups. If we get a reaction, HCl should form, and I'll test for that using both ammonia solution and damp universal indicator paper. So I've got this ready to add. Here's my damp indicator paper, and it goes. Indicator paper is turning red, and with concentrated ammonia we're getting a white smoke there, showing the presence of HCl.
About the uses of phosphorus pentachloride. Phosphorus pentachloride is a chlorinating agent and it is useful for replacing hydroxyl group by chlorine atom. Just now we saw under the chemical property. Yeah, assignment. How do you prepare phosphorus pentachloride? That is PCl3 plus Cl2 give you PCl5. Write the action of heat on PCl5, that you know PCl5 decomposed to give you PCl3 plus Cl2. Write the reaction between PCl5 and water. PCl5 reacts with the water, you get the phosphoric acid. What is the action of PCl5 on metal? Here with the silver and tin they explained. Write the reaction between PCl5 and organic hormone with the ethanol and propanoic acid. Then what are the uses of PCl5? That's the chlorinating agent, the last one. Good morning students. We are going to learn about oxides and oxo acids of phosphorus. Already we have learned chlorides of phosphorus, hydrates of phosphorus. Now we will learn detailedly about what are the structure of oxides and oxo acids of phosphorus. Oxides of phosphorus. When phosphorus reacts with oxygen, you will get the oxides such as phosphorus trioxide. Formula is P2O3 or P4O6. Phosphorus tetroxide, formula is P2O4 or P4O8, and phosphorus pentoxide is P2O5 or P4O10. Phosphorus trioxide. So the structure of phosphorus trioxide, where 4 phosphorus atom lies at the corners of the tetrahedron. Already in the previous video you have studied the structure of phosphorus, that white phosphorus is all the 4 phosphorus are arranged in a regular tetrahedron. So here too in phosphorus trioxide, the phosphorus atoms lies at the corners of the tetrahedron and 6 oxygen atoms along the edges. So you can see that between phosphorus and phosphorus there is oxygen. So there are 4 phosphorus. Between all the 4 phosphorus there is 1 oxygen. So that phosphorus is surrounded by 3 bonds. You know, it has 5 electrons. Out of that 3 involved for the bond formation. 3, and this phosphorus surrounded by 3. This is surrounded by 3 and this is surrounded by 3. All the bond between phosphorus to oxygen and oxygen to phosphorus are called to be the sigma bond. Now the phosphorus oxygen bond distance is 165.6 picometer, which is shorter than the single bond distance. That is, actual bond distance is 184, but here it is 165.6 picometer. This is due to the bonding called to be p pi d pi bonding, and results in a considerable double bond character, but actually there is no double bond in this. The double bond character only at phosphorus pentoxide, even the higher oxides. This phosphorus pentoxide, there is a bond called to be p pi and d pi. Pi bond means, you know, if there is a double bond, then you can say one will be a sigma bond, the other one will be the pi bond. In phosphorus trioxide, all the bonds are sigma bond and the phosphorus present in that is sp3 hybridized. But in the case of phosphorus pentoxide, there is a bond called to be, we are going to count how many sigma bond and how many pi bond in phosphorus pentoxide. So this is phosphorus where it is surrounded by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bond. Out of that 1, 2, 3, 4 bonds are sigma bond. 1 bond is pi bond. This pi bond is formed by the overlapping of p pi d pi orbital. P pi d pi is nothing but the p orbital of oxygen atom and the d orbital of phosphorus will undergo the lateral overlapping. Due to the lateral overlapping, the bond formed is called to be the pi bond. Due to the pi bond formation, there is a chance for pi bond formation. Due to that, the bond distance is not into the expected level, it is very shorter. That is what the explanation. So here phosphorus I have written its electronic configuration 1s2 2s2 2p6 3s2 3p3. The next orbital is 3d orbital. When it goes to the excited state, the electron present at the s orbital will jump into the d orbital. Now there are unpaired electrons in 3s orbital 1, 3p1, 3py1, 3pz1 and 3dxy1. So there are 5 unpaired electron. These 5 unpaired electrons make a bond. 5 bonds are formed. Out of that, 4 bond is sigma bond. You know, this is 1, 2, 3 and 4 sigma bond. The 5th bond is the pi bond. That pi bond is formed between the 3d, that is d orbital of phosphorus and p orbital of oxygen overlap laterally. So the bond formed is called as p pi d pi bond. In phosphorus pentoxide, that is either we can write P4O10 or P2O5. Each phosphorus atom forms 3 bonds with an oxygen, that is 3 bond with oxygen atom, and also an additional coordinate bond with an oxygen atom. This is the phosphorus which is forming 3 bond with the oxygen, 3 sigma bond with the oxygen. The additional, you know, every phosphorus have one lone pair of electron. That lone pair of electron made a bond with this oxygen. So when it make a bond, actually it is not a coordinate bond, it's a covalent bond. When it make a bond, I already explained the last slide. This is sigma bond and this is pi bond. So phosphorus make 5 bond, out of that 4 sigma bond and 1 pi bond. Terminal phosphorus oxygen bond length is 143 picometer. So this phosphorus oxygen, that is PO bond distance is 143 picometer, which is less than that is expected single bond distance. This may be due to, already we said in the previous slide, that is due to the lateral overlapping of p orbital of oxygen atom with the empty d orbital of a phosphorus atom. So here there is a overlap, lateral overlap, p pi, how a pi bond between p and p orbital form, that was represented lateral overlap, and how d pi, this is a d orbital and this is the p orbital. When these two overlap, how it is formed, d pi and p pi orbital. Next, about the oxo acids of phosphorus acid. So let's see, we are just going to learn about oxo acids of phosphorus and its structure. So there are 5 oxo acids of phosphorus are given, but there are more, but only 5 are given in list. One is hypophosphorus acid. The formula for hypophosphorus acid is H3PO2. The other one is orthophosphorus acid. Its formula H3PO3. Either you can say it is a phosphorus acid or orthophosphorus acid. The third you can consider orthophosphoric acid, that is H3PO4. That is hypophosphorus is H3PO2, orthophosphorus is H3PO3, orthophosphoric is H3PO4. H3PO2, H3PO3, H3PO4. Next, hypophosphoric acid, that is H4P2O6. Another one, pyrophosphoric acid, that is nothing but H4P2O7. This is H4P2O6, H4P2O7, one oxygen different. Now let's see about its structure. Hypophosphorus acid, formula H3PO2. H3, 1, 2, 3, H3PO2. So 5 valence electrons of phosphorus is involved for the bond formation. One for this hydrogen, one for this hydrogen, one for this oxygen, and the lone pair of electron for this oxygen. So this is H3PO2. Next, about phosphorus acid, H3PO3. H3PO3. One for oxygen, the other 2 hydrogens are near this oxygen, one another. Next, let's see about the phosphoric acid. P in the middle, all the 3 OH groups are down. OH, OH and OH. This is phosphoric acid and one double bond O is near this phosphorus. Next, about the hypophosphoric acid. Hypophosphoric acid H4P2O7. P2 I have represented, H4, all the H here down, and O6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All the phosphorus is linked with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is hypophosphoric acid. Next, last one, pyrophosphoric acid, that is H4P2O7. So again I'm writing one oxygen extra, that oxygen. Compare these two structure, that oxygen will come between phosphorus and phosphorus. That's all about the pyrophosphoric acid. So there are 5 acids: hypophosphorus acid, orthophosphorus acid and phosphoric acid. Hypophosphoric acid and pyrophosphoric acid. So only one oxygen, PO2, PO3, PO4, O6 and O7. Here the structure too. If you learn one structure, you can able to draw the other structures too. Next about the oxo acids of phosphorus preparation. About the preparation of this oxo acids. That is, first they have given hypophosphorus acid. You know its formula is H3PO2. You know to calculate the oxidation number, P can be taken as X. The remaining you can substitute oxygen minus 2, hydrogen plus 1. Substitute and find out. Plus 1 can be obtained from P4 plus the white phosphorus plus water. You are getting the acid called to be hypophosphorus acid. That is H3PO2 plus phosphine is obtained. That is PH3. Next, orthophosphorus acid, that is H3PO3. Oxidation number of phosphorus in that is plus 3, obtained from phosphorus tetroxide, that is P4O6 hydrolyzed. You are getting the compound called to be phosphorus acid, H3PO3. Another one, hypophosphoric acid, that is H4P2O7. Oxidation number plus 4, phosphorus along with oxygen and water. All of the else we saw here was only water. Here extra oxygen is added. You are getting the compound called to be H4P2O6. That's nothing but hypophosphoric acid. Next, orthophosphoric acid formula H3PO4. Oxidation number plus 5. It's obtained from phosphorus pentoxide, that is P4O10 plus 6 molecular water give you phosphoric acid. Next, pyrophosphoric acid, oxidation number plus 5. When you heat this orthophosphoric acid, that is H3PO4, when you heat it, you are getting the compound called to be pyrophosphoric acid. So here only there are 5 compounds like the thing. One is called to be phosphorus acid, that is hypophosphorus acid, orthophosphorus acid, hypophosphoric acid, orthophosphoric acid and pyrophosphoric acid. So all the 4 things here, 1, 2, 3 things are hydrolysis. 1, hydrolysis with the presence of oxygen. This one, heating of phosphoric acid. Next, the assignment. Write notes on structure of oxides of phosphorus. Draw the structure of oxo acids of phosphorus. Learn the preparation of oxo acids of phosphorus.